Hi, just Paula, folks. It's been a while. Yes, I have started vlogs. Yes. So, anyways, I missed you guys. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm just reordering some things, and but this video is about it's a story time. Two different examples, but I want to talk about. I don't know if anyone else, any other Black woman, has experienced this or feels this way or felt this way, but I discriminated against Black men and maybe Black people in general. And let me tell you what I mean by that. My entire life so far, and that's changed now, but I had this. It's my identity, right? Or is this part of like how people identify me, how I identify myself. And with that identification, I had this sense of loyalty. And when I mean discrimination against Black men or Black people, if I see a Black brother or sister in the workplace, out the shops, in the neighborhood, the church, like I treat them differently than others. I treat them, I don't want to say better, but I go out of my way to make sure that if they need anything, if I'm doing something, if I'm getting a certification in something, I want to make sure they know about it. If I know sources of income or in any topic, spirituality, relationship, if I'm doing good or if I've had some mistakes, I want to make sure that they know about it. I just, I'm starting to see why I did that and what does that mean, but I'm not going to focus on that in this video. It's just, I just want, if anyone else is doing that, I want you to really evaluate why you're doing that and maybe just kind of really think about some things. For me, I've evaluated why I did that and I'm no longer doing that. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to help people but I'm going to lean more on the Spirit of God to discern the spirits of people. And I'll be honest with you, in the past, I just looked at their skin color, and it's not like I treated my non-Black brothers and sisters like I didn't help them, but I really went out of my way for Black and brown, but specifically Black folks. And I want to tell you, as I'm getting into middle age, I guess middle age is technically 37, but I'm turning 40 in a few days. But a few months ago, I definitely shifted. A paradigm shift happened, and I realized that was not beneficial for me, for my spirit, for myself, for my person to do that. So let me talk about the story times. And this happened recently, but I have like hundreds of examples over my life thus far. But this is kind of when it all came to a head and like understanding. This last year, everyone knows I am doing a Dave Ramsey, but I was in gazelle intensity. So you can look up my other YouTube channel, Mind Shift to Keto Wellness, or any video about Dave Ramsey's program. Like I had multiple jobs. I'm out here in these Corona streets. Like I'm like grinding to pay down my commitments, my debts, and just to get my financial situation in order. So sometimes when you're busy, you don't really have a lot of time to think. But at the same time that happened in my regular full-time job, my Black supervisor and another Black woman basically put me in a position where I had to take this large project. And I'm not mad at them because I get it, but then I don't. Because at the same time, I'm still doing my job. So I have to take responsibility, and I'll talk about setting boundaries in another video, but I end up having this new job, which is a great responsibility, and my current job and all the other things I'm doing and living and trying to survive like everyone else. Not one time did my Black brothers or sisters, I went to them, both of them. I said, this is too much. Can we come up with a plan? Like, I think this is a good way forward so I could just focus on this large project and I can start to divest these other responsibilities. Crickets. No, they kind of said, one was like, the black girl was like, the black woman was like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Here, 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 here. So then my black supervisor was like, yeah, he listened to me, but he never moved on action to remove things. And again, I'm just saying I have to take responsibility, but that's where I was. So that's came to a head when I had all these other, the job that I was hired to do, plus this new job. It came to a head when things started, we went to shift work and things started to just get really crazy. And all the ancillary jobs that I do, the collateral jobs that I do started to come to a head. And I was leaving messages to him, like, please do this, please do that. So then one morning he calls me, and again, we're on evening shifts because of the COVID. And I'm just getting to sleep at 2 a.m. because I'm doing all these other jobs too. And he calls me, and of course I'm grumpy. He's like, you're going to have to come in and do X, Y, and Z. And I was like, why? I mean, you have access to, like, I don't need to come in. I already set everything up. And he just was like, why didn't you do this? And why didn't you do that? And when I tell you guys, I slipped. I didn't swear or anything like that, but I was just like, I am doing too much. I cannot do everything. And he was basically pointing out all these things I was doing wrong or I did wrong. And my whole thing is like, you didn't cover me. I'm sending you notes. I'm waving the white flag. I'm telling you X, Y, Z, or these are the hurdles or challenges I'm running into. And what I want to say to you guys, that was like my first, and it felt good. So I literally screamed like, he's like, well, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, I'm telling you now, sir. And at that point I was like, I'd have probably lost my job. So I said, I'll come in. I said, but I'm not washed, because I literally just got to bed. I'm going to be in my pajamas. I'm not doing my hair, and I'm not brushing my teeth. I'm just going to come in and whatever. And I said, don't call me again. So get off the phone. Thank you, God, for waking me up. And of course, I go see my crumb snatcher, who at this time he was 18. He's 19 now. But he was just like, Mom, is everything okay? Like, who were you talking to? I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, Mom, I literally just heard you screaming. Oh, you guys can't see. I literally heard you just, let me see. Okay, that was better. It's just the sun, guys. Can you guys see? Oh, that's better. He's like, I literally heard you screaming. He says, Mom, I literally heard you screaming. So I think screaming is not the right word. He's like, okay. And so I explained to him what was going on. And I'm thinking, my son, of course, he's going to, sorry, guys. I explained to him what's better. I explained to him what's going on. So I'm thinking like he's at least going to be on my side. He was like, Mom, first of all, don't let anyone take you out your character. I'm just telling you, out of the mouth of babes. He says, 2, you're not chopped liver. If you should have been looking for another job. Tell your boss once if there's an issue. If you don't see any change, you should have been online looking for another job or whatever you have to do, and you just give your 2 weeks when you get that new job. Do not let anybody stress you out. And that's the first. And when I mean I had a paradigm shift, so here we go. So that's just my example. I'm thinking this black man who's like the age of my mom is going to look out for me. And no, that was the wrong thought. And I've been at this job I've started a new job, but I've been at that job for 3 years. So that's the first thing. And also I'm thinking I got, a relation with a black woman that, she was going on maternity leave, that she's going to be still looking. I'm like, this is stressed out. Like, I didn't sign on. I said I would help, but I didn't say I would take over. And I'm still got my other job. She's like, that ain't my problem. So that's it. The second lesson I had to learn, having this loyalty to blackness, but black men in particular. And I'll go into other videos about when I went on my discovery and evaluation of why that is. But I had this like undenying loyalty. Like, it's just unmovable loyalty towards black men. The second thing, the second example this year, like I said, I have hundreds of examples when I look back over my life. The second example was I managed different teams. And on that big project, eventually we had to get to a point where we're co-managing with like another division, another department. And the head of this department, so I told you my boss, my supervisor is black, but the head of this department is white, and they're all white men. And I'm honestly to God, that's a whole nother situation right there. They're racist. Like, people like to say 2021 racist, microaggressions, like, seriously. I think there's some misogyny in there too. Anyways. So the second thing, but one of the teams I manage, the lead is black. And over the last 3 years, even though I'm managing them, providing oversight, I talked to this. He's kind of would be like my like older brother or like young uncle type of age. He's like in his 50s. And my boss is like 60 or something. So I'm trying to give you guys a frame. So I talk to him a lot, just, about like, get your different certifications, whatever. I uncovered some sort of just unhealthy, unproductive talk about the black guy that I managed by these white people. So reconciled it, had said this is wrong, whatever the case may be. And I basically, you can't say stuff like that. And if you do, these are the issues you can get in trouble. So I had a meeting with the black guy. This is, hey, look, heads up. This is what was said. This is what they think about you. Just make sure you're in your P's and Q's. But more, just make sure you have your certifications. Like, you're out there, you're getting things. So this is a certification I got. And this is, if you need any materials, So come to find out, he goes and he tells his white supervisor. And it became this crazy thing. And I'm like, well, why did you do that? And he was like, well, they're trying to do. I said, what world are you living in? Like, that there's systemic racism, white supremacy. I was giving you a heads up just so you can, walk the walk that you need to walk when you're interacting with these people, or kind of make up your exit strategy to get out of here. His thought process was like, no, I'm going to get them. I don't know what it was. Because I was like, at the end of the day, whose word do you think they're going to believe? He's like, well, I need you to send me an email with what you said. I was like, I'm not doing that. I was like, I'm talking to you because, again, like I was thinking, my black brother, I just want you to heads up, whatever. No, he was like, well, Paula said, I'm like, so now it's like, what? No one was in, do you all understand what I'm saying? So I had to learn that lesson because I, put myself out there. It's like, I just wanted him to be aware. Again, I am not saying that if this happens in the future, I still won't go to the racist group of people and say, hey, you can't do that. But what I know now is not to go to the person and let them know that this was said, and maybe the lesson is more spiritually discerning, God, what should I do? So that's what I didn't do. And let's say, God, this is really troubling me. What should I do in this situation? So maybe that's the better recommendation I can give to people. But more is to not put your faith in man. Any man. But for my black women out there is, if you feel like you have to be so loyal to a group, a demography of people, and it's just because you're supposed to, I want you to reconsider that. So those are my two, but I have hundreds of examples just over the years. And like I said, I'm coming up on 40, so it's going to be no BS for me. And it's not like I'm going to crap on anyone or I'm not going to pull anyone. I've always been about pulling people. But what you realize is that any expectation that you'll get pulled from your people or your men are going to cover you, I want to dispel that expectation. If that happens, or it's more like a spiritual connection more than like a race. This is where I am in my life. And I don't know if this resonates with someone, but I don't want anyone thinking that they have to do something. They have to sacrifice to be the sacrificial lamb for people or for Black men, because I'm just sad to tell you that that loyalty, it may not be reciprocated. And no, I'm not talking about dating or marrying. I don't care about any stuff like that. I'm talking about just what I had growing up. And like I said, I'll do another video of like discovering why I felt that way. But I will go into years ago, my ex-fiance, right? I did the video, he reached out to me 6 years later, leave me alone, Black. And to me, that was like the worst romantic experience I've ever experienced. And I just remember around the first time I found out he was cheating, my son's father, who was white, reached out to me because we were trying to like, it was like during the summer, my son was due to come back, and I was just in such a depressed state. And I do recall, I don't even know if he remembers, but he made a comment like, listen, what are you doing? Just kind of like end it, like, you know, because he had met my ex, and he, of course, they knew each other. He's like, I'm not saying he's a bad person, but this isn't, clearly he's not mature enough to have an adult relationship, the type that you want. And I just remember him telling me, you broke up with me because I stopped believing in Christ. That's, you know, was a reason why we parted. One of the main reasons, you know, different in belief systems. He's like, this joke, what is this joker is doing? And you're giving him, why are you even, you know, and I guess his point, he couldn't really articulate, is like, why are you giving this person who has betrayed you? You know, I just had a difference of belief systems, and I broke, you know, I had broken off with him, and he was saying, this person is betraying the things that you value in a relationship. And it goes back to that undying loyalty that I felt towards Black men. I don't feel that way anymore. And I don't hate anyone. I would date, I would marry a Black African or someone from the diaspora, or not. If I'm single, it's nothing like that, but it's just for anyone that has this loyalty, that you're so loyal to the point that it could bring harm to you or could have a negative consequence to you. I do want you to reconsider that. So anyways, I hope this video resonates with someone or another Black woman who just wake up. Like, don't do it. Don't do it, sis. Like, seriously. And so that's it. So that's just Paula. This is my first video back at you guys in a while. And I just hope this resonates with someone. I hope you all that are listening can hear the nuance. I'm not putting anyone against anyone. I'm not saying I don't care for Black men or people. I'm just I hope this makes sense to some people. I hope it makes sense to the people it's supposed to make sense to. Bye.